Okay, with this client, we're gonna do a low fade. I'm gonna ball out the bottom. We're gonna try to keep it as tight as possible and blend into the bulk. I'm gonna show you guys how simple it is to blend into a lot of hair and really keep a tight controlled blend. All right, so let's get started. Okay, notice when I find my guideline, I'm not going in and I'm not stopping, okay? I just kind of go in real low, pull the lever backwards, just flick. See it? See how the blend kind of fall in place? Choose the corners. Instead of me using a number 1 to blend in, I'm going to actually skip, use a number 2 guard, and just kind of go into the bulk on the sides. Alright, see, so I'm blending in, and I'm still in full control of what I'm doing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple dark spots, and I'm going to go in, use the corners of the clippers, blend right in. Blend right in. So now I use the 1.5. I'm blending backwards. Lever open, creates a 1.5, and I just tap into the number 2 I just used. Go around the ear a little bit. So now I remove the guards, lever pull backward, creates a 1/2. I use the corners and I blend into the 1. Alright, close the lever all the way, creates a 0. Use the corners, blend into the 1/2. Again, we adjust our lever accordingly as we blend. As we get farther into the length, we have to pull the lever backwards so we don't create any lines or imperfections. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this around the ear. So I'm actually going to blend a little bit around the ear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to flick, keeping it nice and low. Here is I'm going to pull the lever backwards, creates a 1/2, and just tap around that area. Now I use a number 1, lever pull backwards, creates a 1.5, and I flick. Notice I'm going at an angle against the growth pattern. Again, lever push forward, creates a 1, and just tap into the 1.5. Now I use a number 2, lever pull backwards, creates a 2.5. Notice a little bit of weight. Using the corners, we're going to go in and just tap the weight right into the dark spot. And usually it blends right in. See it? See how it falls in place? Now we're gonna go back to our 1. See, a little bit of weight below the 2. Pull the lever backwards, creates a 1.5, and transition into the 2. As we close our lever, creates a 1, and we transition into the 1.5. Lever pull backwards creates a half, lever push forward is 0. Pull the lever backwards, this was a 1.5. Use the corners of the clippers and blend right in. Notice we're working in really small spaces. We're not going in creating any lines or imperfections, we're just using the corners of the clippers to just transition and blend in. Alright, we close the lever, 0, bottom. Again, we slightly adjust the lever accordingly. Just go in. This was a half. Go in to the corners. Close the lever. A little bit of weight right there. By using the number 1, lever pull backwards creates a 1.5. We go in and we just tap. See, it falls right in place. Use the corners. Zero on the clippers. Just gonna go around the ear a little bit. Use the corners. I'm gonna transition. Now I use the outliners. Again, I'm not going to go in and create any extra line where I give myself a lot of work. So to go in, I'm just going to go in from the 0 on the skin, and we're just going to blend right in the transitions. Now I'm going to use the outliners. I'm just going to shape the front. Usually when I find my guideline, I try to find it where the hair naturally curves, okay? So I go in, find the natural curve, then I move forward. This allows me to stay in full control when I'm doing a shape up. So use the corners, just go in and just clean up. From the bottom, I go in into my curve. Okay? Notice what I didn't do. I didn't come from the top and turn and go all the way down. A lot of times if you do that particular technique, find yourself pushing the shape up back a little bit farther than you actually wanted to, and you're not in control of what you're doing. This particular technique, if you find your guideline, you move forward, clean up from the bottom into your guideline. All right. Around the ear, you notice there's a little bit of hair. What we're going to do is we're actually going to shape it. We're going to go around the ear, use the corners, pull the ear down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this same steps on the opposite side. We're going to go in, lever push forward creates a 0. We're going to go real short at the bottom. Okay, real short, pull the lever backwards, creates a half. We're just going to flick. Right where the ear is, just going to flick. Alright, we're going to do the same thing back here. We're going to push the lever forward, creates a 0. Nice and low. Pull the lever backwards. I'm just going to flick. When we flick the wrist, it automatically blends the hair a little bit, so avoid too much work transitioning, okay? No hard lines, so we don't have anything to work at. We just flick and it transitions right in. Now what I'm going to do is use a number 2. Lever push forward, creates a 2. Use the corners. Over the ear, use the corners. Blend right in. A little bit of weight. Lever pull backwards. What I like to do is, when I'm blending, I always want to be in control. This, I could use a 2 with the lever push forward, but to be on the safe side, I pull the lever backwards, creates a 2.5, and then I blend in. I can always close the lever and make it shorter. Okay, so this allows me to be in full control of what I'm doing. The last thing you want to do is cut the hair too short and you find yourself raising the blend because you're trying to compensate for your mistakes. Alright, we flick. Now we just use a number 2. So what we do is we use a 1, lever pull backwards, creates a 1.5, and we're gonna blend into the 2. And notice, I didn't go all the way in trying to blend, okay? I just flick and stay right at the edge where the 2 was, and it falls right in place. I'm gonna keep this as low as possible. Remove the lever, remove the guard, pull the lever backwards, creates a 1/2. We're going to blend in. Again, you adjust the lever accordingly as you blend. As you get into the bulk, you pull the lever backwards, give you more blending room in your transition. The same thing. Pull the lever backwards. I'm going to use a number 1. Again, we probably could use a 1 with the lever pushed forward, but we're going to pull the lever backwards. We're going to use a 1.5, and we're going to tap in. Okay, again, just to be on the safe side. Last thing you want to do is remove too much hair, because once you remove too much hair, that automatically changes what you're trying to accomplish, changes your blending. You're going to have to compensate to make it work. We just want to stay and do exactly what we want to do first time. Alright, oh, and a little bit of imperfections in between the 1/2 and the 0. We just tap in and that blends right into the 1/2. Outline right where the hair naturally curves. The corners of the clipper, we're going to move forward. Or the edges, I should say. Alright, we're going to go forward. From the bottom, we're going to go into our guideline. Alright. This, by actually shaping now, it just allows me to kind of see where I'm at with the cut. It just kind of keeps me on track. Alright, so I clean that out. And then I'm just going to use the same edges and we're going to blend in a little bit at the bottom. This is actually one of those cuts where you have to remember on the other side we shaped around the ear. We're going to do it right now, just to be sure that our haircut's going to be balanced on either side. Okay, it gives me a reference point, so when I blend, I can always spin the client around and pay attention to the other side, and I know exactly what my haircut's looking like. We just tap, use the corners. I'm actually going to switch to a number 3. Okay, a little bit of points, imperfections. Just gonna use the corners at an angle. We go in. Just gonna tap out. Same thing. Notice when we went in with the 3, notice that this hair gets a little bit more obvious. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go step 1 step backwards. We're gonna put a 2. Again, it's a lot easier blending into shorter hair than it is longer hair. This is a 2, we use a 3. So we're gonna use the number 2 and we're gonna blend right into the 3. Same technique, we use the corners. We just tap right into the dark spots. And it transitions right in. That means if we want to transition this into the 2, use a 1, lever pull backwards, creates a 1.5. Use the corners, tap right in. And that's how you blend the 1.5 into the 2. Alright. We just tap. Again, you notice a little bit imperfection. Obviously remove the 1, lever pull backwards, creates a 1/2, and it blends right into the 1. Short strokes, staying right in the particular area that you're working in. Make sure you use an angle at all times. Truth is, if you're angling a clipper this way, you're not gonna really make a big indent, even if you know, by accident go in a little bit too much. You're not gonna really take out anything because the clipper's angled so much, it can only remove a little portion at a time, so it wouldn't be any drastic mistake anyway. We're gonna go in and we're gonna blend the back in. Alright, nice and low. Now look, I can push the lever forward, creates a 0, and actually blend in. But what I'm gonna do is, instead of me doing this with a 0, I'm gonna pull the lever backwards, creates a 1/2, and I'm gonna actually use the 1/2 to start my blend. And again, I'm not going in and stop, I'm flicking, so by the time I use a number 1, this will just fall right in place. Now remember, 1/2, use the number 1, lever pull backwards, creates a 1.5. Same technique, we're just gonna flick. See how it's transitioning? And again, adjust the lever accordingly. We push the lever forward, creates a 1, and we tap right into the 1.5. Alright, a little bit of weight. We're gonna jump from the 2, we're gonna go into a number 3. I'm just gonna knock the bulk down a little bit. Blend right in. A little bit of weight. Obviously that's too short for number 3, so we can't use a number 3 to remove that. We're just gonna use the corners, continue blending into the weight, knock that down. Then we use a number 2. We're gonna pull the lever backwards just to be on the safe side, and we're gonna blend into the 3. Okay, we're gonna use the corners again. We're not going all the way up to make a mistake. Push the lever forward, creates a 2. Use the corner, flick of a wrist, and it transitions right in. Again, this particular technique allows you to stay and work within the area that you're intended. Now we remove the 2. The number 1 lever pull backwards creates a 1.5. Use the corner. Just tap dark spots. Again, we adjust our lever accordingly. As you get lower, you push the lever forward to kind of be on the same length of hair. Okay, so as you get into the bulk, you want to pull your lever backwards just so you don't remove too much hair. So now what we're going to do is, remember we used the half to start our guideline in the back. Alright, nice transition. Now I'm going to close the lever, creates a 0. And I'm going to stay really low, alright, because I want a nice seamless transition. Even though this is a low fade, I still would like a nice seamless transition without any weight line. And use the corners, they transition. Notice just a flick of the wrist. No whole hand movements. All we're doing is we're just using the corners and we're just flicking. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna use the outliners, and we're gonna bald out the bottom. So we're gonna go really low on the neck. Okay, we're not gonna get our outliners all up in the bulk. Again, remember we want a nice seamless transition in the back. Even though it's a low fade, we're still looking for a nice blend without any weight line. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm taking a look on this side. Notice a little bit blended around the ear on this side. So I rotate the client, it's a little darker on this side. So what I do is I use a 1, I use the corners, and I just flick a little bit, just to get a little bit of transition in this area. Alright, this is why I like blending on one side, so I have a reference point. I could go around and just match my haircut. Using a 1, pull the lever backwards. Not going into the bulk, so we don't have to worry about that. We're just going to use the corner. And we're just going to hit right at the transition area. It falls right in place, see? Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to use our thinning shears and we're going to remove these lines. Notice these lines, imperfections. When I comb it down, they're obvious. I'm going to use the thinning shears and we're gonna get rid of them. So I comb it down, there are the lines. I comb it down. See, the lines get less, a little bit heavy right there. See? See how easy that was? I'm gonna do this on this side. Let's see how the lines look on this side. Pull the hair down. Couple lines. A little bit better on this side. Notice the line. Gonna scoop up sideways. Notice it pops out a little bit more. So as it pops out, let's do it again. little bit of weight. Sideways, see it pops out. Calm down. A little bit of lines and imperfections. We just go in and we transition. Now we see a little bit of imperfection. We use a 2, pull the lever backwards, creates a 2.5. And we just tap it. And there it is, blends right in. Okay, for the front, we're gonna comb his hair down. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go across the thinning shear. Just use it to just remove a little bit of bulk. So yeah, comb it down. See? It's falling a little bit right here, you just take that off. Alright, what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna use the balding machine and we're just gonna clean at the bottom. Very bottom. That'll give us a nice, smooth transition. Notice I'm not going in creating any new lines. Okay, I'm staying right at the very bottom, and I'll just flick right into the 0. See? Just comb the hair forward. Anything that's overlapping, we just go in, use the corners, and take it off. We're going to use the entering the art zone 7-inch blade. Nice large blade. We're going to use the shave spray. Okay, use my thumb, pull the skin tight. Spray allows the razor to just glide on the skin. Pull the skin tight. Then I usually just use the edge of the razor and get the curve. Pull the skin tight. Pull the skin tight. Then I use the back of the blade. I just follow the arch. So we're gonna use a little bit of Mold It. Use the razor and just go in a little bit and just piece out the front.